Welcome to 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, where we take random movies from Metacritic's 15K Plus movies to randomly watch, whether we like it or not. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews. I'm Colin.
And I'm Niall.
And this is random movie number 15326, movie 43 from 2013. And there's just a bunch of random numbers in that last sentence, so if that's confusing, it is much a confusing week for us to do this. Movie 43 is 1 hour and 39 minutes long. It had a budget of $6 million and it made worldwide $32 million, strangely enough. It has a Meta score of 18 out of 100 and a user score of 3.1 out of 10. And it did win an award. It won the 2014 Razzie. So,
yeah,
you can kind of predict where this is going to go. So, so I think just in a nutshell, it has 13 directors and 20 writers. It's sort of like a comedy sketch show that you would see on TV, but an hour and 39 minutes long. It's just sort of a weird movie, and it's weird that it exists, basically.
Yeah, the one thing about the sketch show thing, yeah, it has that feel, but I think a lot of it might have been funnier had the sketches been more succinct. You know, some of them ran on for like near 10 minutes, and just like one joke.
Yeah.
And that's just true. No good. You know, it's like a scene from Family Guy. You know, when he cuts off to some weird, obscure thing, and it's it's 15 seconds. That's quick, sharp, pithy, bang, gone, done. This just far too long. Each scene was far too long.
And if you start looking up who the writers were, you start realizing, well, that makes a lot of sense. They don't have a lot of pedigree in them, a lot of the writers. A couple of them have Family Guy episodes in their
weirdly,
yeah. A couple of them have a number of adult cartoons, which I'd never heard of before. There's Paradise PD, there's Brickleberry, and there's something called Forzar, and I think one of them is still running, but I've never...
Unfortunately, I've seen all three. Paradise PD is just as good as this movie.
Right.
Forzar, I watched one episode of. It was better than this movie, but still terrible. What was the other one you mentioned?
Brickleberry.
Oh, Brickleberry. That one I haven't seen. Sorry. I've heard it's tripe though, so I haven't bothered.
Wouldn't surprise me. Well as that, when you look at the sort of humor that's in this, one dude called Ricky Blitt, he actually wrote The Ringer, and if you know what that's all about, from 2005, that's it's got one of the stars, one of the actors in this, Johnny Knoxville, as a person who pretends he's mentally challenged to go to the Special Olympics. And so if you think, and that's a full movie about that specific topic, so if you think that's bad, then so you're going to kind of realize what this is all about, this movie. James Gunn is interesting as a person who's involved in this movie, coming from the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that's just come out. I was just looking at his background, and he didn't really do a lot before Guardians. Like, he did Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, before he went straight into the Guardians 1. I just don't know how or why he got that job.
I take offense at you slagging off Scooby-Doo 2. I really enjoyed that. It is a terrible movie, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Well, you must be the reason why he got the job on Guardians then.
Probably, yeah.
The box office. All right, so listen, the plot is a hard thing. Obviously, plot we do for every movie. It's hard to do this because it's all skits, but I think it would be remiss of us if we didn't go through each skit very broadly and try to.
We should probably mention the story that's supposed to tie these skits together. There's two versions of those story. I watched the alternate version, what's known as the alternate version, which was the three kids.
Which was terrible.
Oh, is that the same one you went through? Yeah.
Well, yes, I tried to look for there's a couple of clips from the US version, as it's known, on YouTube. There's a few little bits. It sounds more appealing than this one, but it's harder to find that one online nowadays. So yeah, that one includes Greg Kinnear and who else was in that? Dennis Quaid. So
Dennis
right
Quaid,
there you've got
Mr. Family Guy's in it too.
Yes, yeah. McFarlane himself. He must have called in a favor there, the writers. But for some reason, they didn't like that one. It's Dennis Quaid pitching this movie idea to Greg Kinnear, and it goes a little all chaotic near the end. I don't want to run
a little shooty.
That.
Yeah,
a little shooty. But the alternative version is 3 teenagers are looking online for this movie 43, and they look online for the internet, and it basically just tease every one of the skits up as they look at the video screen, and they find these movies online. It's really not worth mentioning it more than that.
Yeah, there's no real tie-in to these movies.
No.
There's no connection other than they're randomly looking at movies on the internet, effectively.
Yeah, and it's just an excuse just to try and tie all of these random skits together. So the first one up is pretty much what I read is the first one they created, and they used this one to rope everybody in. So the producer, Charlie Wessler, is the person who the brainchild of all this movie, and he basically started this off, and he got Hugh Jackman and Kate Winslet in to get this first skit off the run. And this was, I think, 4 years old by the time they got everybody else started. And yeah, it's basically Kate Winslet has a blind date with Hugh Jackman. He takes off his scarf and he has testicles on his neck, and it goes on longer than it should, as you mentioned previously. Obviously, Kate Winslet's a great actress, and her reaction at times is quite humorous, but not smile-inducing.
No, it's just it's an uncomfortable scenario that just goes on a bit too long.
Yeah, it bypasses the number one rule in comedy. Basically, they don't stretch something that on paper could be funny, but it really isn't. And this was the one that was directed and produced by Peter Farrelly, who obviously has a background in mainstream success, like Dumb and Dumber back in the day. I liked Kingpin, Something About Mary, Me, Myself, Irene, all those, Shallow Hal. They're all
decent.
Back in the day, decent.
I think his humor's kind of aged now. Like, I don't think his humor's as marketable as it used to be back when we were watching Dumb and Dumber. Possibly because we were younger at the time as well, though. But I don't find it as funny.
Yeah, and
still though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and like this skit goes on for too long. It involves varying, like, increasingly horrible incidences of said body anatomy and other parts of the scenery with it, and yeah, it was terrible.
Yes, yeah.
We leave it there.
That's all. Like, it was it must have been a big win. I don't know how they managed to get Hugh Jackman and Kate Winslet. Like, that's how they made the movie, obviously, as you said. 2 big stars. That's how they dragged everybody else in after 4 years or whatever. But and it's hard. I don't know how they thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's hard to find any actor or actress to find their sort of their reflection on this movie. But Hugh Jackman did bring it up when he was interviewing with one of the X-Men movies. Who knows which one? He just basically said, I think he just sort of says, yeah, it was, it wasn't the best movie or something along those lines. Anyway, we're going in then to the second one, which is the skit is called Homeschooled. It was basically a premise of Liv Schreiber, Naomi Watts as the parents. They homeschool Jeremy Allen White as their son, and they do all the things that you would expect to see in a teen school movie to him. They bully him, they make fun of him, and they force out scenarios with him, as in they force him to have his first kiss with his mother, basically. It's just terrible.
Basically sexual assault of their own child, which is supposed to be funny. Absolutely not funny. There's nothing good about this one.
What I did kind of respect at the end was Jeremy Allen White's performance when he comes down to say hello to the neighbors when they've just heard everything.
Okay,
they've just heard everything about what he's been put through. He comes down and he's very polite, and they kind of turn around and go, "Oh, he's actually quite normal." And then he's like, "Okay, well, I'll see you later." And then he comes back in with the mop with his mum's face on it, and his expression was what kind of got me. I kind of liked his acting.
That's the one gag, really.
Oh yeah,
and the setup for that shouldn't have been 10 minutes. It could have been done in 3 minutes, and it could have been more effective, a lot more effective.
Yeah. Moving swiftly on then to The Proposition, which was directed by Steve Carr. Steve Carr, who's best known for directing Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Yeah, and that says everything right there.
Yeah, so Anna Faris and Chris Pratt are a married couple. They're on a picnic, and he's about to propose. She says she's got something to say to him, and she basically says, "I would like you to poop on me." And that's it. Entire skit. That's what is it, Rainy in The Simpsons? That's the joke.
Laughing time is over.
Yeah. It goes on, and he tries to do it, and she runs away because he says something inappropriate to her, which is weird. Yeah.
He says the bad word for poop on me, and she runs away because of that.
And then he gets run over by a car, which obviously makes him evacuate his bowels everywhere. And
explosively, the important part.
Yeah, she loves that, and then they get married. So that's that.
Great sketch.
I'm a big fan of JB Smoove, obviously from Curb Your Enthusiasm, but he couldn't save this one. The next one is called Veronica. It's directed by Griffin Dunne, who actually is most well respected for being in This Is Us as an actor, and I don't watch that, so I don't have any respect for him after watching this one.
Same bad.
This is actually the least,
least offensive
skit, offensive and least reason to exist. Basically, there's nothing like he's the Kieran Culkin from Succession is working as a checkout clerk, and Emma Stone is his ex-girlfriend. They come in and they basically miss each other, and they say things to each other about their past history, and I don't know why this exists, and I wanted my 5 or 10 minutes that it was on. I wanted it back.
Two fantastic actors, and they don't perform badly, and it's just there's no material.
Yeah.
There's no joke. That's
There's
it.
There's no joke.
Just pointless.
So let's not give it any more time. The next skit was iBabe, which was directed by Stephen Brill, who is the dude that's behind a lot of the Adam Sandler movies. So if you like Adam Sandler, you might like iBabe. I don't like Adam Sandler's movies, most of them. I think Stephen Brill was involved with all of his Netflix flops. I think there's one probably good one in his past, but directed this one.
Uncut Gems is a fantastic movie. I don't know if he's involved. Yeah. I should have checked that, but Sandler's only good Netflix movie, and it's a very good movie.
I think he's involved with that one, but I just saw a lot of Adam Sandler DVD covers in his back catalog. So iBabe basically is this. It's set the scene where Richard Gere's the boss, and he's in a boardroom, and there's a naked woman who you listen to music from, and because it's a naked woman, they found out that teenagers around the world are getting certain body parts mangled in the different ports that the iBabe has.
The problem being that the lower port has a high-speed fan that turns on intermittently and has caused problems.
Yeah, issues.
That is the joke, as you say.
Yeah. Kate Bosworth's in this one, and Jack McBrayer from 30 Rock. So yeah, it's got good actors in it.
Yeah, Richard Gere, like last time I seen him was in I'm Not There, the Bob Dylan movie, where he plays one of the personas of Bob Dylan. He's very good in that, and he's actually very good in this. But again, the joke's not really funny.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, again, a big, massive name that you'd wonder why they got into it. Yeah. Next up was Superhero Speed Dating, written and directed by James Duffy. I don't think I've got anything on him, so let's just move swiftly on. Justin Long and Jason Sudeikis play Robin and Batman and Robin. Robin's he's at a speed dating night in a pub, and Batman comes in and spoils it for him. obviously people turn up. Kristen Bell, Uma Thurman, Leslie Bibb all turn up, obviously, and shock us with their existence in this movie.
Especially
I don't remember anything. Yeah, that was crazy. And she played, obviously, Poison Ivy in one of the real Batman movies. But no, I don't remember anything from this. Obviously, Jason Sudeikis has gone on to Ted Lasso, and he probably doesn't want to talk about this one.
Good reason.
Yeah. You liked the advertisement.
I did like the next one.
The false advertisement. I hated it. It was terrible. Even for
an
advertisement that went on for too long.
Well, it went on for too long. But I like the end. There's a tagline at the end that made me chuckle, and that was machines, they're full of kids. I don't know why I find that funny. It's ridiculous. But that made me chuckle. That's maybe one of the 2 times I chuckled in this movie was because of that line. So maybe in a sea of mediocrity, that line stood out for me. In a normal movie, I might not notice it.
Yeah, it was like shot in that sort of, give us your money charity, and in black and white of kids crying and people abusing
it was like
vending machines. Yeah, so I wanted that to end, and it did, and it went into Middle School Date, which I thought was probably the worst skit in the entire movie, and like they're all bad, but this one was just pointless, and to be honest with you, very shocking that it was written by a woman and directed by a woman, because it involves Chloe Grace Moretz at her boyfriend's house, and they're probably 16 or so, and Chloe Grace has her first menstrual cycle and puts blood on the sofa and panics, and her boyfriend goes crazy, and his reaction is supposed to be funny. Then his older brother's reaction, Christopher Mintz-Plasse from McLovin, I guess you remember him from.
The second time they've been together as well, or the third time they've been together because of Kick-Ass.
Oh, Kick-Ass, yeah. And then Patrick Warburton as the dad comes in, and he's obviously my hero from Seinfeld, but
he is.
And Matt Walsh from Veep comes in as well, so it's an entirely star-studded thing. Yeah. But it's terrible. The premise is terrible. It's not funny if you're a woman. It's not funny if you're a teenager. It's not funny if you're... Not
funny for humans, I would have thought.
Yeah. It's just, and there's nothing about it that, saves it from the actual weak premise that it is. Next one, Happy Birthday probably gave me the one smile of the movie, because Jared Butler is locked in a basement as a leprechaun because Johnny Knoxville got it for his housemate Sean William Scott, and Jared Butler hams it up in a squeaky fake Irish voice, and that was kind of weirdly humorous to me. I don't know why I should laugh at that as an Irish person.
But... It's the one piece, aside from that one line earlier, there was 5 minutes where I was kind of chuckling, and that's it. But him as a leprechaun is just hilarious in my eyes. Maybe because we're Irish and we like the Irish accent being hammed up to the hilt. Some people might find it offensive, probably do, but I thought it was funny.
Maybe. Yeah, and the word is that Colin Farrell was supposed to be his brother who come into the Crock of Gold.
Oh, I thought he was supposed to be the first choice. Okay, yeah.
No, he was supposed to come in as the second dude in the pot of gold, but
that leads on to an interesting piece though. Like, there's Sam Rockwell was supposed to do one of the skits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he dropped out to do 7 Psychopaths with Colin Farrell.
Oh, good link. Well done.
Thank you. Here all week.
I think also somebody said F off. I can't remember if it was
Trey Parker. Was it F off?
Oh, yeah, he backed it. Yeah, the actors though. The big actor said no thanks.
Yes.
I'll try and find out when you're talking later. I'll figure that one out. Anyway, from Happy Birthday, it goes into Truth or Dare, which is Stephen Merchant and Halle Berry in a restaurant who are on their first date, and they do Truth or Dare instead of doing, who are you and what's your favorite music?
Usual double dishwater conversations.
The thing that you see in the trailer is Halle Berry going over and blowing out a blind boy's candles before the blind boy could do that, and that's the sort of that's how it starts off, and it gets worse from there, and not funny from there as well. Yeah. Again, awful. Yeah, not good at all. So And then it doesn't.
Halle Berry, I don't know how she set herself up for this one. It wasn't great.
No, not at all. So, moving on from that, then Victory's Glory, which actually that last one as well was directed by Peter Farrelly, so you kind of get that sense of humor.
Actually, disappointing Steve Merchant on this. He didn't really read the script. He just decided when he heard that he would be acting alongside Halle Berry, he was like, "Yeah, sign me up."
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
you're not an A-list star.
Yeah, 2 days with Halle Berry, sign me up. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that was what he. Victory's Glory is the locker room of a all black basketball team, and it's basically about them being black, and it's directed by Rusty Cundiff, who actually directed a whole bunch of Chappelle's Show episodes, which I really, really respect as a comedy or a sketch show from the 90s.
He did not shine here.
No, it's really bad, and it really just focuses on them being black, and it's very lowbrow. Yeah, very lowbrow. Terrence Howard obviously is there because he's the star. There's a star actor in it, and yeah, it's about them going out and beating the hell out of the white basketball
103
team.
to 1 points, but that's that's the one joke, and it goes on for a while as well. And the only joke in it is they can't lose to a bunch of white guys because they're black.
Yeah,
that's the joke,
and it goes on forever.
Yeah. Painful.
So you think the movie's over, and then mid credits, this Who Framed Roger Rabbit sort of mutation comes. Beezel. So it's a comedic animated cat.
Comedic.
No, sorry. Yeah.
yeah. It's
comedic.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Banks is a woman in a relationship with Josh Duhamel, and he has an animated cat who hates her and has an over fondness for his owner, master, and
there's a
I don't even want to describe it.
Ted 2 off it.
Yeah.
Nowhere nearly as good.
It's terrible. It's bad. And so it gets worse. It finishes off with Elizabeth Banks beating the cat over the head with a shovel in front of a kid's birthday party.
And then they beat her to death.
Yeah.
Finn.
Finn, yeah. There's a couple of segments that were dropped, and if you look at IMDb and any other thing, you've got Bob Odenkirk's name solidly connected to it, and it's not obviously in the release that you see, and I don't know what happens in it. I don't really want to go into it, but Julianne Moore is in his segment, and there's another one, The Apprentice, which stars Anton Yelchin.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
And that was dropped too, and that's fine. So, for plot-wise, I'm giving it 0 out of 5.
Oh, I give it 0.5 because they wrote stuff down on a piece of paper.
There's no plot, and there's no reason why this movie should exist. I think it's a tax fraud, just like the scam
and
Stick. Yeah. Which kind of like goes. We don't really have a lot to say about the rest of the sections here, and that's why we've talked so long about the actual plot, because acting, it's a bunch of famous actors who know how to act. So,
but they can act. So, I myself, I only give that 2.5 because they're great actors, and they don't mess up, but there's no material to there's nothing to get your teeth into. So,
Yeah. I gave it 1.5 out of 5 just because they turned up and read the script and did what they are good at doing. Sound brackets track, there's nothing of note anywhere. I looked up the music plays and songs play through the movie, but nothing of note. And there's a couple of you think you recognize some artists, but no, it doesn't work. And I don't know if you did any research on who played any songs in it, but
there was nothing.
Nobody turned out.
There was nothing that was worth mentioning, really. Not like I couldn't find anything of any worth, so I didn't dig any deeper. And certainly, while watching it, there was nothing worth mentioning.
Yeah, and like weirdly, it sounded like a horrible teen movie '90s soundtrack, That's what I sort of felt. Yeah, so that's like a 0 out of 5 because there's nothing there.
Yep. Same as.
Right, and then like the production as well, like obviously fair play to Charlie Wessler for actually getting this off the ground and making money from it, which he did. But it's critically panned. I think the only person from the production team to speak out about it was Peter Farrelly. He basically tweeted out, he said, to the critics, exclamation point, movie 43 is not the end of the world. We try to do something different. Now back off.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Peter Howard, one of the movie critics at the time, said it was the biggest waste of talent in cinema history. That
is very accurate.
Yeah, a lot of the other, this kind of sums everything up. Brett Ratner, one of the directors, I think, or one of the writers, one or the other, I don't really care at this point. His entire back catalogue is interspersed with Mariah Carey music videos.
They had better plot, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I don't really have anything else to say about the production value, do you?
Well, yeah, like, it's effective. They put a movie together. That's about it. There's nothing of note. They didn't F up. Like, in fairness, the cinematography was more professional than the previous movie we watched, Stick. But,
Yeah. I think, a lot of people just kind of wiped their hands with it and moved on with their careers. I think a lot of favors were called in to get the actors in, and I think it was just a whole bunch of networked people just saying, listen, do this for a couple of minutes and we're good. So, yeah, production 1 out of 5 because it exists.
Yeah, that's about what I put on. I put 1.5. I was feeling generous.
Oh, that's very nice of you. So, like, one of the top... somebody from the Washington Post, Michael O'Sullivan, who I haven't looked up to see if he actually still exists as a movie critic, but he gave this 88 out of 100. And he said movie 43 is a near masterpiece of tastelessness. The anthology of 12 short, interconnected skits elevates the art form of gross-out comedy to a new height.
That man is an idiot.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of 0 out of 100s, but the Hollywood Reporter, Frank Scheck, said, despite the dizzying array of talent involved both in front of and behind the camera, this god-awful experience is so painfully unfunny, so screamingly bad, that it immediately qualifies as one of the worst films of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even terrible in such a way, like a movie like The Room is, where it's kind of funny to watch it because it's so bad. This isn't that. This is just unpleasant and a waste of your time.
And I've read, I've searched it up on Twitter to see if anybody's still talking about it, and there's still people who watch it and go, this got me through some tough times. So, there's obviously an audience for everything.
Yeah.
Where it was actually a tough time for me to watch it, so it's the reverse for me. So that's put a line.
I would say this is easily way worse than anything we've watched so far.
Oh yeah, it was.
I gave out a bit of Stick last week, but this was way worse.
You'd watch Stick again if you were given the choice between this and Stick.
Oh, put Stick on repeat for like a week instead of watching this once more time.
All right, so let's put a line through movie 43 forever. Let's tip exit out, white out it out, and move on with our lives. This will be. Let's roll the random number generator for next episode, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to roll it, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully a low number, but let's just see what happens here. No, we're still down at the bottom. It's 11,782.
Oh, okay, 4,000 up. That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So let me just see what I can do here with getting it out. All right, so 11,782 is a movie called 27 Dresses.
Oh, God, January. No, really?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm aware of this movie. Okay.
It's a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's a rom-com with James Marsden and Katherine Heigl, and yes, it's probably one that our wives have watched.
Probably.
Jane has always been good at taking care of others, but not so much in looking after herself. Her entire life has been about making people happy, and she's a closet full of 27 bridesmaid dresses to prove it. And it goes on from there.
Okay.
It's got a 47 Metascore, and it's got a 5.8 user score, so it's up there with a average movie. So to see how two grumpy old Irish guys likes a 2008 rom-com.
Well, maybe it's got a short runtime.
It runs for something, I don't know, 111 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so if you want to hear us wax lyrical about a romantic comedy, then episode 6 will be for you. And that is the end of episode 5 of 15K plus random movie reviews. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Ciao.